Welcome to the Success Pick and Mix podcast. I'm your host, Nicky Raby, a professional pick and mixer. I'm a personal brand coach, a speaker, an actor, a creator, and a podcaster. I'm on a mission to help you find and create your version of success. Your pick and mix of life and business on your terms. A blend that complements your personality, your goals, and your circumstances. Since 2018, I've been sharing interviews and mini episodes to help you unlock your next step, to make it real and make it happen. Round here, we dream big. We go for the ideal version. We talk about money and make moves our future selves would be proud of. This podcast is free and available for you whenever you need it. So do rate, review, and subscribe for new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices and availability, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests. Now, on to today's episode. In today's episode, I'm talking to my lovely friend Frankie, who is a freelance graphic designer working with clients across arts, media and charitable sectors. She's also a mum of one and the founder of Doing It for the Kids, an online and increasingly offline community by and for self-employed parents. Through the Doing It for the Kids blog, Instagram and closed Facebook group, Frankie gives self-employed parents a safe place to vent, share advice and experiences, and ultimately cheer each other on through the madness that can be freelance life and parenthood combined. She's recently launched the Doing It for the Kids shop, selling reward charts and stickers for parents, helping us to recognise our achievements, both personal and professional. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Hiya, Frankie.
Hiya.
How are you?
Okay, yes, good.
Excellent. Thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Oh, you are very welcome.
Tell me who you are and what you do, please.
Yes. Okie dokes. My name's Frankie. I am a freelance graphic designer. I live in North London with my son and my husband. And I also run a community for freelance and self-employed parents called Doing It for the Kids.
Yes, and it's brilliant. It's a great Facebook group. We love it. So,
thank you.
How did that transition begin from you just doing bits of graphic design work and then kind of being a force to be reckoned with on the internet, as it were?
Oh man, how did that come about? Well. Okay, so I was a freelance designer for 3 years before I had my son. So I kind of was finding my feet a bit, but I felt vaguely established. I feel much more established now. I had my son and I was obviously pregnant and going to like yoga and all that good stuff and meeting a lot of other women who were also pregnant at that time. And basically the vast majority of the people I met were in like PAYE jobs with nice maternity packages, and yes, they were thinking about how they were going to take that time off and the challenges of coming back to work afterwards and all that, but it was quite different to my situation. I didn't really meet anybody who was in that situation. I found that quite frustrating because I couldn't have that connection about being on maternity allowance for however long. So I really struggled to meet people in my day-to-day life in that same scenario. And then I went to the internet and was like, come on, internet, let me find some people that are in
they are.
And I couldn't find, I found some bits that were similar, but nothing like, I don't know, that was really obviously what I was looking for. So I just made it instead.
And what was it that was missing for you?
I think a lot of the stuff that existed already was really like business heavy and was like, how to have a successful business and be a mum. Also like exclusively for mothers, basically, whereas Doing It for the Kids is also for dads. Really like practical business heavy stuff, often aimed at people starting a business on maternity leave, whereas I'd been obviously freelance beforehand. I was more interested in the like emotional day-to-day struggle of being a freelancer and having kids. rather than the like, let's make X money or how to do your marketing, or which is all good stuff. And I do talk about some of that stuff now, but we're doing it for the kids is less like practical business and more like just life.
Yeah, how you pull it all together. I think I said it in another podcast the other week about when you say startup, you just think Shoreditch, you think concrete kind of open plan spaces where, and actually when you're doing it as a single person at home, as in like you're working for yourself and you're the only person in that business with kids, there is all kinds of stuff that comes up along that journey, as it were.
Yeah, and I needed people to talk to about it, basically. And I was meeting lots of very nice women, but none of them were in that situation, or they were self-employed, but were like a barrister is self-employed. Like they're technically not an employee, but I'm obviously not a barrister.
Not yet.
Not yet, maybe. Still time. So yeah, I tried to find something that didn't exist, so I made it instead.
And I remember, like, early doors, I don't know how I found you, maybe on Instagram, but bizarrely we live like 10 minutes away from each other. But Instagram brought us together. And I remember reading your PDF of, you know, what you were starting and what you were launching. And it was really impressive. Like, I know you're a designer, so that certainly helps. But how important has that brand and that message been to you starting and then growing traction so quickly?
Yeah, massive. So yeah, like the fact I'm a designer helps me blag my way through, basically. Because I mean, yes, there are two elements to this. One is that yes, I did a lot of groundwork in the first place, so I came up with the idea. I remember so explicitly like sitting in my son's room where he was like lolling around on the floor, you know, dribbling, whatever. And I had my laptop. I was just like manically, I was just so inspired by this project, and I was just like manically researching it, writing down all my ideas. And then from there I went to Facebook and did a big call out and basically sent a question, like a market research type thing, around to people I knew and their friends, and then built what I thought the project could look like off the back of that, and made this PDF, which was like a pitching document to try and get people to write for me for the blog, basically. Yeah, but in terms of like how that PDF looked as a first port of call for people is so key.
Yes.
And like I always say, well, I'm a designer, so it's my job, but like every bit of comms that comes out of whatever you're doing, whether that's, you know, a project, a passion project, or your business or whatever, if it looks like it's considered and you care, people are going to listen. They're going to listen up. Definitely. It makes such a difference. Yeah, so I definitely think that helped me get that initial interest. And on Instagram as well, because obviously I'm a visual person. So, yeah, I think having a considered look helps people to get involved in the first instance.
And also the look can work for you while you're not there, because sometimes there's that emphasis of you saying, well, you've just got to get out there and you've got to talk about your business. But if you're doing that with a child in tow, that might not be the most favourable pitch. Whereas if you invest in somebody like Frankie for creating a document, something that's going to work for you, something that can stay in somebody's inbox and just be that case of like, let me forward you this. My friend sent me this. I think it might appeal. It can actually do your marketing for you. And what's been the most surprising thing from launching it?
I mean, it surprises me literally every day that anybody really cares. Because as much as you think, you know, it's a good idea and it's important to you, I don't know, you just like, is anybody else going to be passionate about it? So yeah, I'm always amazed. Not only that the people that are involved are also so passionate about it, but that more people are coming on board all the time. So that's, yeah, amazing. I'm trying to think what other surprises are. I don't know.
Has it changed a lot since the initial idea?
Has it changed a lot since the initial idea? Yes and no. So my initial like think big blue sky thinking was like blog, events, blog and events basically. Yeah. And those two things are now happening. But I didn't start those things initially. I guess I had this like grand plan and then went, actually, I can't achieve that. I can't achieve all of that and work and have a kid and all the rest of it. So I scaled it back for like the initial launch. I guess also it's just a test to see whether anybody cared. And then from there, I've been growing back to where I wanted it to be. So I did one event at Christmas and now I've hopefully got 2 lined up this year. And then I've obviously launched the shop part of it, which was never part of the initial plan, but is now another strand to it. And the Facebook group, for example, I never intended to open at all. Like, I always thought it would just be the blog and Instagram, and the conversation would happen on Instagram. But it came obvious quite quickly that we needed somewhere to really get into the conversation, and Instagram's great, but it's not really the platform for those types of chat. Yes, the Facebook group has been a real surprise, actually, as to what that's doing and how that's actually connecting people in a real way. Not just for support and chat, but actually working with each other and forming partnerships and all the rest of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's been fantastic for me. Thank you, because loads of clients have come my way as well.
Oh, good. That's the whole point.
Oh, and general chit-chat as well. There's a lady called Linda Kendall who has written in the Facebook group, actually, and she has asked you how you managed to fit in time to run the group so meticulously when you're a mum and you have a job too.
That is a good question, Linda. I mean, the short answer is when I first launched it, I was basically killing myself and I wasn't sleeping enough. And I was up every night. Any opportunity, basically, I was working on either my job or doing it for the kids. Yeah, that definitely slowed over time, but I was still pretty tired and exhausting myself. But then I had a miscarriage in October and basically had to stop as a result of that. And since then, I'm much more like, need to look after myself. As much as I love this stuff, I have to prioritize myself over my work and this project. So now I'm more like looking at now basically I'm that annoying person that won't necessarily respond to your email for like 3 months. Because
it's gone the other way. Like, thank you so much, but I'm not going to be in touch.
So I've now got an out of office on my Doing It for the Kids email that says, thank you, I love you. I will respond, but not necessarily now.
Yeah.
And I do get to everything eventually, but yeah, I'm not as on it as I once was. I'm just prioritizing basically the stuff that needs to get done and then slowly tackling the other stuff when I have the time.
Yeah, because there's that weird thing, isn't it, that you think you're self-employed, so you are working to your own schedule, but also you're working to other people's schedule as well, of suddenly like, can you just turn this around, or I need a response for this email. So you never quite feel like you switch off. I heard something on Giovanna, I think she's called, Fletcher's Instagram, and she was saying that she was going to see if she could count the hours or allocate the hours that she was going to work per week, because what she said that she was doing was just working all the time, because there was no I flipped the sign over now, the shop is closed. That it was that sort of, always open in that way. So
and the irony there is strong in that, like, technically on paper I work 2.5 days a week because that's when my child was in childcare.
Yeah.
But that's just not true at all. And I think, I haven't done that experiment, but if I did add up the hours, I probably actually work more than my husband, who works full time. So
so annoying.
Yeah, it's the irony is, yeah.
But also we love what we do. This is the tricky thing as well. It's sometimes, it doesn't feel like work in the way that we're not down a mine or, packing crisps in a crisp factory, the second of which I have done. And that was the greatest 10 weeks of my life, not creatively fulfilling by any means, but it really made, and also I smelt really badly. I used to get in the car and my mum used to be like, oh, sour cream and chive or whatever, and I was like, yeah, that's where I was today. But it did make me think what I wanted to create for my life and what career meant to me. So where do you feel like it's going in terms of freelancing parents? And there was a question in the Facebook group as well about what should the government be doing sorry, we're hitting you with all the political questions today. But what do you think that we need? What are the conversations that that we should be having out there and bringing to light?
Well, the biggest one, one of the biggest issues and why I set up this thing in the first place is that sense of isolation you get. Obviously, as a parent, it's massively isolating anyway. But then being at home on your own, not having that support and social aspect to a office job or a factory job or whatever.
I love that factory job.
Yeah, so like, I don't know. They're obviously trying to do things to tackle the isolation of like young mums, for example. So I don't think the government necessarily, but we as a society need to be looking out for each other a bit more and making sure that, you know, we're not all feeling like everybody's doing their own thing and nobody's looking out for us. In terms of the government itself, obviously my biggest bugbear, well, two big bugbears, are maternity allowance itself, which I don't want to moan about because there are plenty of countries where there's zero maternity pay. But at the same time, in comparison to the maternity package you might get via an employer, like even statutory, but beyond that, people get stuff from their employer, don't they? Yes, maternity allowance is £140 a week, irrespective of how much you were earning when you had a baby, which seems nuts. That in itself makes no sense. You could be like earning however much, 60k, and then earning £140 a week for 6 months. And that's a massive struggle for a lot of people. I mean, £140 a week is a massive struggle for most people.
Yeah.
And then self-employed dads currently get zero paid leave at all, which doesn't make any sense. And kind of feeds into the whole argument about gender relationships and gender roles and who's supposed to be taking on the brunt of the childcare and all the rest of it. And there are conversations happening in Parliament about that, but it's nothing's changing yet. And then I guess the other thing I'd quite like to see is like a startup style loan or something for people who are trying to start a business having had children, either on maternity leave or after having kids. Because there are obviously very unique challenges of starting a business when you have small children, which are different to, starting a business at any other time in your life. So, yeah, I feel like there's something that could be done there around just that little kick to get people going, because a lot of people depend on redundancy or having that time off over maternity leave to start something when they're getting paid. They can kind of take that risk to try something out. But yeah, if there was that like little buffer, just to keep people.
Because there's those negative connotations, aren't there, sometimes of, baby brain, or, oh, she's so tired, she can't think straight, or he can't. But actually, that isn't the case. Obviously, we're all shattered, but, let's not forget that. But for the most part, people with children, or even, if you're 30 plus, whatever, that the more you go through life, the more wisdom and experience and clarity you have about what's important and what lights you up and what you kind of want. And you can actually, because I guess you have more responsibilities and you have less time, you actually get on with it and you think, right, okay, let's make this work. Because whether that's a small person going, I'd really like a Sylvanian, what was the thing that Finn had? The Sylvanian family caravan.
The hot dog stand thing.
Yes, which is exactly what you want to be spending your money on.
Unbelievable.
Oh my goodness. But you realise that, you have that momentum in place just because of your life circumstances as well.
Yeah, totally.
And how have you found the meetups? How have you found, because I would say, well, I will speak for myself in this way, but I'm quite an introvert. I am a confident person. I'm confident in my abilities and what I do, but I am not, even though I've got an acting background, I am not that person of like showtime, standing on a table, unless I've had a lot to drink, which, I may have done in my earlier days. But I find that a lot of us freelancers out there are introverts and quite easily sit behind a computer. And you bringing us together at that Christmas do, it was great because we saw people in real life.
Yeah. So lots to be said. Anxiety is like the bane of my life. I definitely suffer from anxiety. I definitely describe myself as an introverted person. and social anxiety particularly, gives me the shivers. Like, if you ask me to go to a house party now, I'd just be like, no, don't make me do it.
Can I Skype in and then have a look round and then see if I like it, and then maybe I'll go next year? Yeah, I'm the same.
Yeah, so like the concept of doing a meetup was pretty terrifying. But actually, as with most things in life, you catastrophize it beforehand, but when it actually occurs, it's really fun. Yeah. You have a pretty good time. And the thing about that is, I know, I mean, I hadn't met I'd met some of those people, but the majority I hadn't met. But I had a connection with those people through the community already. So that takes the edge off from my perspective.
Yes.
But yeah, my whole aim is to try and make people feel as comfortable as possible when they're there. Yeah, but having done that, I realised it's not as scary. I mean, it's still scary. Don't get me wrong. The next one will still be scary. But it'll be a little bit less scary. And I've learned from that one. And I definitely think, like, well, the biggest takeaway from that was those connections that you make in real life are so much stronger than the ones you make online. Yes, you can make amazing relationships online, but to have that, like, look somebody in the eye, you know, and you're reading their body language and you're reading each other, and you're almost like flirting with each other, aren't you? Getting to know each other in like a...
And you do that weird grab of their wrist going, oh my goodness, you're so real. You're real.
You know, and connect in real life. Yeah, so I think that's just really important. And we've already seen that a lot of the people that were at that event are connecting with each other beyond that event a lot, and meeting up like one-on-one and working together and doing stuff. So yeah, definitely want to do more of that, even though it absolutely scares me. So yeah.
And so what have you been your practical solutions to move beyond that? Because you could have easily just sat on this idea and thought, oh, I know that people want meetups, but actually it's too scary. How did you actually get the heck on with it? I would never say
social
get the heck
pressure.
on with it in real life, but we can't swear on this podcast, just to say. I would use swearing much more eloquently. Yeah, how have you done it with social pressure?
Well, that's part of it, isn't it? It's like people want you to do it, so you feel like you should do it. But I think also just like talking to people that I know about it. I mean, I'm an anxious person, but I'm very good at talking about my anxiety.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I spoke to people about it. Like I made friends with a lady called Juliet through Doing It for Kids, who basically has become my like life coach, and I WhatsApp like every day. She's like, "It's fine, just do it. You'll be fine." So yeah, people like that, people like you that I've spoken to about it, just having like a sounding board to say, "This is what I'm afraid of," and people going, "Well, all of those things are going to be fine, and you'll be all right."
Yes.
And what's that can happen, basically. Because a lot of the time anxiety is so internalised and just becomes, as I said, you're catastrophizing everything and it all gets blown out of proportion. But actually, in reality, it's just some people in a room like having a cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not going to... Nobody's going to die.
Exactly. And also, I was just thinking that when you first become a parent, people aren't actually... It doesn't matter what you do in your working life, you know, what spectacular things you've done. If your child is learning to walk or can learn to feed themselves or, you know, is turning around or manage to turn on the TV, whatever it might be, that is far more impressive to those people around you. So you do need people in your life who are still going to see you, not like literally, but actually hear what you're saying as well as you being a separate person. Talking of tea, Maxine from the Facebook group, who is in episode 1, by the way, if you want to go back and listen to that, has asked you, what's your ultimate favourite biscuit?
Oh my gosh. Too many, man. Too many. I sort of want to say Choco Leibniz because it's basically chocolate. Do you know the one I mean?
No, like, what are they? We'll have them in the show notes, guys, so you can go and do an Amazon order.
It's like a little biscuit, like a Nice style curvy edged biscuit, quite thin, and then it's just coated in like 5 ml of dark chocolate. It's like 80%.
Yes.
That's pretty good. Or like a hobnob. I love a hobnob.
Crunch cream, Fox's crunch cream.
Oh yes, dippage. Yeah.
They're quite disgusting to watch somebody eat them, but actually, so if you can just eat them in private, then that's all the better.
It's fine, we work from home, it's all good.
Yeah, exactly. I would have maybe, well, I don't know if it's a chocolate bar or a biscuit, but I used to be a big fan of Twixes, and then I had them like literally every day of me being pregnant, and I can't really look one in the eye anymore because I feel like it's taken me back there. In terms of your business and you launching and going at it alone, as it were, are there any books or resources or things that have really helped you to get moving? I keep wanting to swear today, sorry.
Yes, I wrote it down. Give me a second. Yeah, so the book I'm always banging on about is called My Creative Side Business by a lady called Monica Kanakova. And it is what it says on the tin, really, in that it's about people who are either creatives, like myself, a graphic designer, and they start a side business doing, I don't know, embroidery. Or it's about people in another job who have like a creative hobby and want to make that into a viable business. It's just super interesting. So she has like, each chapter is kind of a case study on a particular person, talks about their story to date and then how they've come up with this idea and then monetized it. And there's a lot of chat about things like using stock websites to resell stuff you've already created, starting a podcast, like doing like loads of different things that you have the skills and the knowledge that you're already creating, and then kind of repackaging it and selling it and making a business out of it.
And actually making money. Hooray!
Yeah, hurrah! So that I'd really recommend. It's really readable and just super practical and super interesting. Yeah.
I was going to ask you also as well, how have you grown it so quickly? Have there been any strategies that you've used that have come back that have, you just think, that was the tipping point? Obviously, we're not saying there's one golden nugget because it's never usually that thing, but has there been something that's worked really well for you?
I'd like to say there is, but I don't think there is. I think it's partly that it's really spoken to a lot of people like me that were looking for something like it.
Yes.
And it wasn't around. And like I say, there are definitely lots of similar things around. But this has really tapped into a specific type of person, I think, who was looking for that. And therefore, they felt really passionate about it. And it's a word of mouth job. So people are just telling each other. And obviously, it spreads that way. And on Instagram, I was really like, I don't do this anymore. But right at the beginning, I was like everybody's posts that look self-employed, comment on them, all that stuff. I was obsessed with that for ages at the beginning. But that's just exhausting and you can't do it all the time. So,
wow. And then you start to become a bit bitter and twisted going,
yeah.
I have liked 9 of your posts this week and I got nothing from you.
I mean, it definitely helps get an initial traction because otherwise people don't know you exist, do they? They're not going to find you unless you're finding them. But these days I don't do so much of that. I mean, I comment on people's stuff, but because I want to, not because I feel like I should.
No, because you want to go, nice profile.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I never did that, thank God. Yeah. So I think there was a bit of that on Instagram, but really I think, it's just like the idea has spoken to people, basically.
Amazing. And I think you're really, I hate that thing, you're really real, because of course you are, but knowing you in real life as well, you are who you say you are online. And I think sometimes we can feel like we should have this like all businessy persona, or now I've got my work hat on, and actually being, and I'm not saying that you would rock up to a business meeting without a bra on and in your pajamas.
May well do, my friend. I may well do.
There is still time. Well, I do have dripping wet hair as we're recording this, so I'm really pleased that it's just audio. Or not, actually, because, maybe I look like a Timotei advert from the 90s. Not. But, yeah, I think you are who you say you are as well, and I think channeling that side of you, where you can find that happy medium where it's like, yeah, I can have a joke and a chat with people as well, and still be professional.
Like when I'm doing work, obviously I'm a professional person and I'm doing my job and I'm wearing a bra and all the rest of it. But the thing with doing it for kids is exactly that. In that, part of the appeal is that I'm talking about all the stuff I would never talk about openly with my clients or whatever, which is this weird, like, I don't know, in-betweeny existence in that clients might see doing it for kids, which makes me feel weird. But also, I'm always ironically, I'm trying to pull myself back towards being more real with doing it for kids. Sometimes I write something and I'm like, no, that's just not true. Like, why would I write that?
I am not wearing a trouser suit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to like check myself the other way, that I'm still being, I don't want to say authentic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that word that is not authentic that means authentic.
Yeah. I'm also sort of flitting now, but going back to the events thing, linked to the idea of having this like quite obvious personality coming through doing it for the kids. That's also part of why I was so scared about the event side of it, in that if people meet me in real life and they're like, oh, she's not anything like I thought she would be. Do you know what I mean? Like, she might be X, Y, and Z, and I thought she was ABC.
Oh my gosh.
So that's quite scary. I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea of letting people down, I guess, or people being disappointed in me as a person when they meet me.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's like, it's so personal. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to think that's not the case, but yeah, that's quite scary. That side of it is quite scary. Yeah, and I'm sure that people who are listening to this will think, oh, thank goodness, because I'm sure, like, this is the thing, I can't remember what, I was watching something the other day, that you're inspiring other people, and I'm sure there'll be people watching you going, oh, I could never start a group, or I bet all the groups have been done now, and actually I think it's the opposite, that there's plenty of room for everyone.
Totally agree, yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just go for it.
So, a couple last questions. What would you say to your teenage self?
Yes.
What were you wearing, by the way, as a teenager?
You would love it.
What gang were you in?
So as a teenager, basically, I went to a girls' school until GCSEs, and then I went to a mixed school for A-levels.
Yeah.
The girls' school did not go well for my state of mind. And I basically got to like 15 and was like, screw this, I'm not this. And so I basically shaved my head. I mean, that sounds really extreme. I had some hair.
Like Britney?
Yeah, well, yeah. Had a bit of a meltdown.
Were you wearing double denim?
No, I never did double denim. No.
Wasn't that crazy?
Yeah, so I had like, I don't know what the scales are with like clippers or whatever. Maybe like a number 3. I don't know, like really short hair. And then I wore like one earring. Don't know why. Yeah. So that was what I looked like as a teenager. Yeah. So what advice would I give to myself? I would say that you can choose the people that come into your life. You don't have to feel like certain people should be in your life or put up with certain people in your life.
Yes.
You can choose who those people are, and they will impact on everything, and just be more like, I don't know.
Find the people that get you.
Yeah, but not even that. Like, seek out the people that you think, not even you think. Seek out the people that you connect with rather than what peer pressure is telling you, and get rid of the people you do not connect with or that are making your life difficult, because life's too short, basically.
Yes.
Because once, when you're at school, like once you get into those little groups, it's really difficult to move around and like get out of stuff. And sometimes,
oh god, I'm feeling sweaty as we're discussing this. Like, all the anxiety is coming back, and the pressure to wear a kappa jacket.
But sometimes, but sometimes, you're in a group, not necessarily an entire group, but there are people in that group who you would never choose to hang out with now. No. And it's like, well, just don't. Like, you don't have to. And also, I would say that you're better than you think you are. Classic. Like, yeah. You'll be all right.
I need to say that to myself now, I think.
Well, exactly. I need down a T-shirt.
I'll design one. Next thing for doing it for the kids' shop. Quick.
Yeah, done.
You are better than you think you are. And where would you like to be in 5 years' time?
Where would I like to be in 5 years' time? I'd like to have child, please. World, that'd be good.
Yes.
Have more money, well, not even more money, just like disposable income.
Yep.
And I guess having more control over what it is I'm working on. Yeah.
Amazing. Watch this space. Also, yeah, just tell us a bit more about your shop so people can go and find out more. My print is already up, by the way.
Yay!
It's looking so nice.
Good.
And I was, it also made me feel quite smug as well, because I had the frame already. I'd had all these IKEA frames for ages, and then I was like, I have the perfect frame for that. That never happens.
No, they always sit and collect dust, don't they?
Yeah, and every month Free Prints is saying to me, you've got 40 free prints in your account, order them now. I haven't got time. But yeah, the print has got pride of place up there. So how did you start your shop? How did you know that was something that you wanted to incorporate for January 2018? Well,
it wasn't a plan for then. But yeah, so part of doing it for kids, I run like a monthly thing called Pat on the Back Club, where we all like pat each other on the back and say, this month I did X, Y, and Z, and that's really cool. And I don't have any colleagues, or the only person I chat to today is 6 months old. Therefore, can you tell me I'm doing an all right job?
Yeah.
That's how the concept works.
Yeah. Because you don't get feedback from these
exactly
beautiful gifts of children.
Yes, not for a long time at least.
No.
Even then, it might be not what you want to hear.
Right.
Yeah. So like. That was a thing that was happening monthly, and there was always this like, I mean, I suffer from it myself, but there's always this ongoing conversation about like, lack of feedback, lack of validation, always, suffering with self-doubt and all the rest of it, and not really stopping to recognise when you've done a really good job, and rewarding yourself as a result. So yeah, I designed this reward chart for parents, for adults, so they can write in what they did and nice things that people have said about them, and make sure they reward themselves at the end, and you stick it on your wall in front of your computer or whatever, and use it as a means to stay motivated and feel positive, and remind yourself to to give yourself a pat on the back, basically. That's the idea. And it comes with stickers and all the rest of it, because all that stuff's fun. Just because you're not a toddler anymore doesn't mean you don't deserve stickers.
No, of course
Everybody
not.
loves stickers.
We do, absolutely. Brilliant. So if people want to come and find out more, come and visit the shop, find you on social media, all that kind of stuff, I'll link it all in the show notes, but just give a little call to action if people are driving or wandering around the park trying to get their child to sleep.
So everything you really need is at doingitforthekids.net, where all the links are. And the Facebook group is /group/DIFTK. The Instagram one's a bit long, but it's Doing It For The Kids, all one word, with then an underscore at the end, because somebody else nabbed my username. It's just a picture of like a biscuit, ironically. It's just a picture of a biscuit and no posts. So go there. Most of the chat happens on Instagram. That's not true anymore, actually. A lot of the chat happens on Facebook as well. Anyway, go to those places.
Come over and play. Everybody will be welcoming and lovely, and also, it's great chat, and you may get clear on your idea, get more clients, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, totally.
Amazing. Frankie, thank you. You're amazing.
And, no worries. You're amazing too, Nikki.
No, you are.
You're better than you think you are.
No! I'm going to get that tattooed. Let's go for a walk soon with our rowdy boys and put the world to rights, as we often do.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you haven't already, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe for all the brand new episodes. If you want to go deeper with my support, check out my freebies house and unlock the rooms you choose. nickyraby.com/freebies house. I also have workshops, programs, and one-on-one bespoke offerings. For prices, availability, or just to have a chat with me, go to nickyraby.com. Thank you, as always, for spending some time with me and my guests, and I'll see you next time.